يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك الزمان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today's video is not suitable for children. If you are a child watching this video, please stop and let your parents watch this first and they can decide whether or not you should see this. Parents, this contains graphic descriptions of violence. So if you yourself have suffered or are suffering violence, please be in a safe place when you watch this. Today's dream is one that was seen by a brother, a Muslim brother that I met about 20 years ago when I was in prison in the UK. Now, he was serving a sentence of, I can't remember how long the sentence was, because he had battered his brother-in-law and almost killed him. I think he got a baseball bat and he just battered his sister's husband, battered him until he almost killed him. And obviously he was caught, arrested, and he went to prison, and he's doing a sentence for that at the time that I met him. So here's the story that he told me. He was from somewhere in Yorkshire, I think Bradford or Leeds or somewhere up there. I can't remember. And this is his story that he told me. My younger sister was a teacher in a Muslim school, and one time, at some point, she saw she was involved in an accident, in a car accident, which killed our cousin, a female cousin. And my sister was in the car, and it was a quite sort of violent accident, and she saw our cousin die. Basically, she saw her bleed to death. After that, my sister became traumatized. Like, she changed as a person. She stopped laughing. She like she would like zone out, and it's like she was like, it's like she was traumatized by what had happened to our cousin. And she just really changed. She just started speaking funny, like she just started acting different. Her behavior changed. Sometimes she would just burst out into tears, and many times I told her, look, go and get help. But she would say, no, I'm fine. But it was even the rest of our family. Even we noticed that there was something wasn't right with her. That she just seemed to be, since the accident, she hadn't been herself. Even though like it had now been like several months had gone by, she hadn't been herself. So it was during that time that a colleague of hers, who was a fellow teacher in that Muslim school, he took a liking to her, and he saw that she was vulnerable. So he used to go to her, he used to talk to her, and he used to sort of, he took a liking to her. Eventually he managed to get her number, and she gave the state she was in. He said my sister gave her number to this guy. Then he started to call her, and sometimes he would spend hours and hours and hours speaking to her on the phone, and spending hours into the night talking to her. And none of the family, none of us knew this was going on. She even met him 2 or 3 times. So eventually, at some point, it came to the point where she wanted to get married to this guy. And she told the family that, okay, look, there's a teacher in my school, and he wants to marry me, and I want to marry him, and I want to his family wants to come and visit. So he said that a day was arranged for his family to come and visit, and up to that point, everything on paper, it seemed okay. Like, my family had looked at his, my dad, my older brother, everyone had looked at his profile, and they said, yeah, he seems okay. And someone in the family had met him as well. My older brother had met him, and he said, yeah, he seems okay. He seems like a nice, decent guy. A practicing Muslim, he prays. He seemed like a decent guy. That's what my older brother said. I didn't really hear about it until the family was coming. So for me, just things were a bit odd, because I didn't think that my sister was in the right frame of mind to be getting married, especially since my cousin's death in the accident. I didn't think that, and she was just weird. She just wasn't herself, like the way she'd been acting, and she seemed quite vulnerable. So that was my view, but I didn't think that that she's in a position to get married. So what happened then is that a night before, the guy's family came to our house to visit. So he said to me that the night before the guy's family came to our house to visit, I saw a dream, and I saw that I'm in a zoo. I'm with my younger sister, and we are in the lion and tiger's enclosure, and we're just admiring them, and they just seem to be, behaving like normally. And there's an ostrich standing there, but the lions and tigers, they're not bothering the ostrich at all. All of a sudden, the zookeeper walks in, and he's got like a plate of meat. It's like feeding time, and then he starts throwing the meat to the lions and tigers. All of a sudden, the entire mood in that cage changes, and the lions and tigers, they go into a frenzy. And the way that they are like eating at that meat, it's making me scared. Even me and my sister, is making us scared, the way that they're doing it. And then I remember he said I made eye contact with one of the tigers, and the way the tiger looked at me, it had this like dead glazed look in its eyes, like it's full of lust or something like that. It's like completely zoned out, like a psychopathic look in its eyes. He goes, it looked towards me, and at that point I said to my sister that, I think it's time for us to leave. So we quietly, while the frenzy's going on, we quietly went out of the cage, and we shut the door to the cage, and we were safe outside. As I left, I just remember that the ostrich, who was in the midst of all this, had its head in the sand, and the zookeeper had its hand on its back, and he was consoling the ostrich. After that, the next day, he goes out. The next day, his family came, and I met this guy, and as soon as I saw him, I had this feeling that something is not right. He had this look in his eyes, which seemed to be like he's not a good person. He's not a moral person. Like either he's an immoral person, or he's an addict of pornography, or he's done something, or he has a sexual past or something like that. He goes that I just looked into this guy's eyes, and something did not seem right to me about this. So he goes, later that day, he goes, when I got home, I did some research about him, and I went online and I looked into his social media profiles, and I saw various pictures of him that gave the impression that he's not an upright, religious, moral guy. Pictures of him drinking, pictures of him smoking, pictures of him with various women in various states of undress. So I then basically, I told my sister that, look, this guy is not suitable, because my sister was a religious, she's a religious girl, wore hijab, she's religious, she never had boyfriends, she didn't do any of these things. Yes, she had given her number to this guy, and she was in a really strange state since the accident. So I basically told her, I said, look, this guy's not you, he's not suitable for you, he's not the right person, I don't think you should do it. But she didn't listen. She went back to him and said, there's all these photos about you on the internet, and he managed to convince her, that was my past, and I've changed now, and I'm a changed person. Allah forgives, you should forgive. I went to my family, I went to my dad, I went to my mum, I went to my older brother, I went to everyone in the family, and all of them were saying that you're being judgmental. How can you base something like this on some stupid dream that you've had? You can't base something like this. We've seen the guy, we've met his family, he seems like a nice guy, and more importantly, she wants to get married to him. What's your problem? And so it caused like an argument, it caused like a split in my family, he said. And I kept on telling them that, look, she's not in a fit state. She's in a very vulnerable state. Haven't you seen how she changed since the accident? She's not in a fit state to get married, and you shouldn't, don't go ahead with this, because I've got a really bad feeling about this. And then my sister saw a dream as well. I don't know what dream she, but my sister saw a dream as well. It's just something about it wasn't right. And even the way that she was acting as well. Eventually, my sister even stopped talking to me. The rest of the family, they stopped talking to me. They cut me out because they knew I was against this. And eventually, she went ahead and got married to this guy, and whatever. She went off to his house. About a year later, a year passed. He goes that after about a year, one day I came home from work and I went to the house and I saw her. She's in the house, the whole family's there, and she's crying her eyes out. And I said, what happened? And basically, she escaped from a horrifically abusive marriage. So some of the details that she said was a graphic description, and I remember this story because of, I spent a long time. I spent a few months in prison with this brother, and we used to talk about it, and so that's why I know the story quite well. He said pretty much from the first day, because first of all, the guy wasn't religious. He's working in a Muslim school, but he wasn't religious. He wasn't praying 5 times a day. Up to the point that he got married, he'd been drinking alcohol, he'd been taking drugs, he's going to nightclubs, he's sleeping with various women, like multiple women he'd been sleeping with. Pretty much from the first day, he started physically harming her. He punched her, he kicked her, he pulled her ears, he grabbed her throat, he tried to strangle her. She said he got me by the hair, and he pulled me by the hair down the stairs, and he stomped on my head with his full body weight. I think he broke her nose once as well, and he broke her ribs. He really badly hurt her at that time. Now she said all of this was going on, but I was just giving you guys the impression that everything's okay. So I noticed that after marriage that my sister began to wear makeup, like heavy makeup, and she never used to wear makeup in her whole life, but after marriage she began to wear heavy makeup. And later on she said, after she came home, when she's saying this, she said the reason I wore makeup was because he would tell me to wear makeup to cover up the bruises, so that when I went into school, no one would figure out or clock on what was going on. She said, I hid it all from you. I hid all of these details from you, and I gave the impression everything's okay and that that I'm happy. He said that. He goes, but my sister, one detail that she said one day she was thinking about whether to stay in the marriage or leave the marriage. And what's sad, the brother said, that she actually went with her husband to an imam. She went to the local imam and she sat with him, with the imam, with her husband. And the husband basically admitted to dragging her by her hair and stomping on her head and breaking her ribs and breaking her nose. He admitted to all of these things, all of this abuse, and he admitted to his past and the various women that he had slept to. He admitted everything to the imam. And the imam still tried to blame my sister, he goes. The imam still tried to say, oh, well, there's mistakes being made on both sides, and you've also made mistakes, and maybe we should try to reconcile. Instead of calling the police, which is what he should have done, he actually, basically, he tried to blame that my sister had some responsibility because of what was happening to her, because of what she was doing, and because of the way she was. That's why he abused her, and therefore they should try to sort out their differences and try to reconcile. He goes, so what happened then is that one day when she's thinking, and apparently other family members, they knew something was going on, but no one told me anything. They just cut me out of everything. My older brother knew, My mum knew, not about the abuse, but they knew that she is really unhappy, and that something really, like she's always like on the phone crying, and she's upset, and that things that aren't normal. I mean, there's problems in all marriages, but this was on a next level. But they hid everything from me. So she said one day I was thinking whether or not I should stay in the marriage or not. So this somewhere in Yorkshire. So she goes, I got in the car, I went for a drive, and I'm somewhere in Yorkshire, in some mountains or whatever. And she goes, he said that my sister is going, she parks the car and she just went for a walk. And she's walking for a few hours. She's walking through fields, farmers' fields. And then all of a sudden, she saw an ostrich. Out of nowhere. I mean, it's in Yorkshire. There's no ostriches in Yorkshire. He goes, and there were two ostriches, in fact. He goes, when I saw them, I started to run. Because I started to run, and I managed to get away. But straight away, it like gave me an awakening that, oh my God, this is the dream that my older brother had. And because the brother said to me, he goes, I said to her in the dream that I've got a bad feeling about you marrying this guy, and I understood from it that you are the ostrich with its head in the sand, that you are just completely naively going into this marriage, and the one who's consoling you is Dad. Dad is consoling you, but he hasn't got you out of there. He's just consoling you after your head is in the sand and all this frenzy and everything's going on. So she said that when I saw this ostrich, I suddenly thought, oh my God, this was the dream that my brother had like a year ago, my older brother had a year ago. And at that point, she goes, that's what made me, it was like a sign from Allah. And she goes, at that point, I thought I need to come back. So what happened after she came home and after she said this whole story, this guy, he just went ballistic. He said, right, he got a baseball bat, he put it into his car, and the same day he went to the guy's house, and there in front of his family, he battered him, he almost killed him, but he just went crazy, like his family, by the time the police came, they arrested him, and by the time the police came and got him, that guy had, I don't know what he'd broken several of his bones. He'd almost killed him. He almost killed that guy. So that was the end of that story. One of the biggest things that threatens the existence of the Ummah today, I would use the words pandemic, I would use the words existential threat, is male domestic violence against women. This is something which is happening it is so common, it's happening in every country. I would say that more than half of families, it's either happening, of half of Muslim families, either it's happening within the household, or they know of someone in their extended family. So it's either happening within the household, or they know of someone within their extended family to whom something like this is going on. It's my belief that one of the reasons why calamities like Gaza is happening upon the Muslims is possibly a punishment from Allah? Is it a warning? Because of the way that we are treating women inside our own homes. You have these people that are like, oh, we're going to go and protect the women of Gaza against the IDF. Bro, you can't even protect the women inside your own homes. What makes you think you're going to go and protect the women of Gaza? People that are engaged in domestic violence, they think they're going on protest, they think that they're going to help the women of Gaza. If you want to protect the women of Gaza, make a start by protecting the women in your own community or in your own house. Start with them and then go and help the women of Gaza. But if you cannot protect the women inside your own community, inside your own home, don't kid yourself and don't think that you're going to be able to go and help the women of Gaza. So 3 very short reflections about this story. The first one, and I address it to you, sister, if you are being harmed. Dear sister, is your husband harming you? It's Ramadan, you're fasting. Look into my eyes and answer this question. Is your husband harming you? Is he hurting you? I don't mean arguments, and I don't mean things that happen in all marriages. You know what I'm talking about. Let me ask this a different way. If you have or had a daughter, if her husband was treating your daughter in the way that your husband is treating you, would you tell your daughter, would you try to protect your daughter or try to get her out of there? 3 things I would like to say to you. If your husband is abusing you, if he is harming you, if he's hurting you, if he's physically he's hurting you, the first thing I want to say to you is, number 1, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not tolerate oppression. He does not tolerate injustice. Allah is not okay with this. You may have heard people say to you, oh, have sabr, this is your test. If your husband is punching you and giving you a black eye every day, just have sabr, this is your test and you'll get Jannah. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not tolerate oppression. He does not accept oppression for himself, and nor does he accept it for his slaves. Now, any imam or sheikh or scholar, anyone that tells a woman to tolerate abuse and oppression and injustice inside her own home, that imam and sheikh and scholar is an oppressor himself, and he is complicit in oppression, and he will have to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. I don't care how much Quran he's learned, I don't care how many hadith he's learned, I don't care how many years he spent studying with scholars or in different countries, that man is an oppressor. Because our Lord, the one that we worship, and we don't worship scholars, we worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept oppression upon himself, and nor does he accept it for his servants. So number 1, Allah does not accept and tolerate oppression. You do not have to accept this. You deserve better. The second thing I would like to say to you is, do some finding out. Go on YouTube, go on the internet, and find out if you are married to a narcissist or if you are married just to someone who is troubled. So there is a difference between the two. Go and find out what are the symptoms or what are the behaviors of a narcissist. And if you come to the conclusion that you are actually married to a narcissist, then get support and leave that marriage. It's not going to get better. It's not going to help your kids seeing their dad, who is a narcissist, treat their mum in this way. It's not going to get better. Get support and leave that marriage. If your husband is hurting you, but he is not a narcissist, and he recognizes there's something wrong with him, he's troubled, he's trying to get help, he's willing to get help, he's willing to change, he's genuinely apologetic every time he does something, then that is something which that is something where you can decide whether or not what you want to do about this. But if he is a narcissist, he's not going to get better. Leave that marriage. And the third thing I would like to say to you, with regret, and I'm very sorry to say this to you, most Muslim men, imams, scholars, sheikhs, Sharia committees, Sharia courts, Islamic councils, most of these are not going to be on your side. They're not going to help you. They're not going to support you. They're going to believe your husband. They're going to blame you. They're going to say that it's all your fault because you're a feminist or because you're disobedient. And if the guy's a porn addict, or if the guy's sleeping around with other women, or if he's a cocaine addict or an alcohol addict, it's all your fault because you haven't made him or you haven't kept him happy. That is complete nonsense. So I'm sorry to say that don't expect. Alhamdulillah, there are still a few good men in the Muslim Ummah, and there are a few good imams and scholars, and there are some courts and committees and councils that actually they actually help women, but the majority of these are not going to be on your side, and I'm trying to tell it to you as blatantly as I can. I'm saying this, I'm a layperson, I'm not a scholar, I'm not a marriage counsellor, I'm just someone who lives in a big community, and it's now been 30 years, over 30 years, that I've grown up seeing domestic violence in my own community. I've seen black eyes, I've seen broken bones, I've heard accounts of women having, I don't know, men have this obsession with hair, dragging women by their hair down the stairs. I don't know what obsession men have with these things. Having known people that I knew since I was a teenager, and concluding that this man is a narcissist, concluding that this man that I've known since I was a teenager is a narcissist, based on not what his wife has told me, based on what he himself has told me, and the way that he talks about his wife. And one easy, quick way to spot a narcissist is when you ask them, whenever I ask them that, okay, bro, you've told me all the wrong things that she's doing in the marriage. What are you doing wrong in the marriage? And he can't see that he's doing anything wrong in the marriage. Or he might say something like, I tell you what I'm doing wrong in the marriage, bro. I was too soft on her. I was too lenient on her. I let her go on social media. I let her meet her friends. I let her go and meet her family. That's what I did wrong. He can't actually see that he has actually done something wrong. That's a sign of a narcissist. So the three things I would say to you is, number one, Allah does not tolerate oppression. You do not have to accept this. You're not being a good Muslim by accepting this and tolerating this, because Allah does not demand you to accept this. You deserve better. Number two, find out if your husband is a narcissist or if he's just someone who's troubled. If he's a narcissist, get support and leave that marriage. It's not going to get any better. And the third one, know that most men in the Muslim community are not coming to help you, especially ones that are imams and scholars. With regret, I say that. Most of them are not going to come and help you. I know these words are going to upset a lot of people. I'm sorry if you're an imam or a sheikh, and if you genuinely help women who come to you with these disputes, I'm not talking about you. You shouldn't be upset. But if you are one like that imam in that story, who instead of calling the police, that you try to like blame it on the woman, or you try to always blame the woman, then you are an oppressor. And I can say that to you. I'll look you in your eyes and I'll say you are an oppressor, and fear Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to hold you to account. My second message is to men, Muslim men in our community who are not involved, who are not perpetrating domestic abuse or violence, but someone comes to you. So you could be an imam, you could just be a lay person, it could be your daughter or your sister or a cousin, or someone that comes to you with a problem of complaining what her husband is doing to her in her marriage. Number one, start on the premise that she is telling the truth. In child abuse safeguarding, they say assume the child is telling the truth because the child does not have a motive to lie. A woman, for example, a woman who's been married for 15 years and she has 3 kids. What is the motive for this woman after 15 years? 15 years she stuck it out. After 15 years to come and say, brother, I need some help. My husband has been hurting me, he's been abusing me from the first day of our marriage. What is her motive? What is her motive to lie? So start on the premise, not how these imams do it, where she's a liar and she's a feminist and she's making it all up to get his money or to further some feminist cause or agenda or something like that. Start on the premise, okay, she has come with this information. I have to assume she's telling the truth. Let me investigate from that premise that she is telling the truth. The second thing, get her support and get her out. Get her out of that marriage. Protect her and save her the same way that you would protect or save your daughter if that was happening to your daughter. And the third thing is report the matter to the police. Don't do what that brother in my earlier in this video did. He's doing a sentence of several years in prison. He was at the time, because he almost battered the guy to death. Don't take the law into your own hands, even though that's something that you may want to do. Report the matter to the authorities, to the police, once you have managed to get that woman, once you've managed to get her out and got her to safety. I wanted to add, report her to the police if she agrees with it and if she is happy for it to be reported to the police, because you can't do it without her consent, because the police might come and interview her and she might say, no, nothing happened to me and I got nothing to say to you. So don't unilaterally do it, but try to convince her, try to encourage her. The more people, the more women report these matters to the police, the more these issues, we have a taboo about this issue where you're not meant to talk about these things. It's happening in so many houses. You know, if you don't believe me, go and ask a GP, go and ask a doctor. They don't have to be a Muslim. Just go and ask doctors what is happening in Muslim households. Go and ask therapists, go and ask social workers. Go and ask imams that are actually involved in their community. That I come from a community where our imam is actually involved in the community, goes to people's houses, he helps them with their problems. Go and ask them and they'll tell you exactly what is going on inside Muslim households. You have groups, you have Facebook groups with thousands of members, private groups of women, thousands of women who have escaped domestic violence. You have WhatsApp groups, you have these messages, this problem is so big, and we are the ones with our heads in the sand. We're trying to play light of it. Oh, it's not that big, or you're just over exaggerating, bro. Come on, it's not that bad. Just look below the surface. Look below the surface. Many men, they don't even know what's going on inside their own house. How would they know what's going on inside someone else's house? Just open your eyes and you will see that this is such a big problem. The scale of this problem is far bigger than we could ever imagine. And this is something that is holding back the success of our ummah. The drain, the effort and money and mental energy and all of the efforts that is going on to resolving abuse or to deal with the after effects of abuse inside the house, that is stopping our ummah from progressing and moving forward in the world. My next message is to the man who is abusing his wife, but he is not a narcissist. You're not a narcissist. You are troubled. You hate it every time you say something harmful to her or you do something harmful to her. You hate it, you regret it, and you genuinely feel remorse in your heart, and you wish you could stop. What I would say to you, brother, is don't lose hope. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can get you out of this. You can change. You can change for the better. But it's not going to be free. You're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to do a lot of work. You're going to have to get therapy to process your childhood. Because your childhood, something that happened to you in childhood is what has made you like this. You're going to have find the courage to admit that you have a problem. It's not her. That there is a problem, that if you're harming her, you have a problem. It's not her. It's not her fault. You're going to have to find courage to admit that. You will have to find courage to get help and to speak to someone about this. There is a way out, but it's going to cost you. And you're going to have to make some effort. And I will ask you this question: what are you doing wrong in the marriage? If you think you're not doing anything wrong and it's all her fault, then you're a narcissist. Simple as that. But if you conclude that you are doing some things wrong, then get help. Go for professional marriage therapy, and I'll recommend a couple of names in the description part of this video, and get therapy to process your own childhood so that you can stop acting like this, and apologize to your wife, and know that your wife is probably telling other people. She's trying to get support. She's telling other people. So if you're ashamed about people finding out, if you get help, the chances are that she's already probably told a friend or someone she's already told. But there is an opportunity for you to stop it if she wants to stop it. There is an opportunity for you to stop it if that's what you want to do. And the last thing I'll say to you is that your actions are harming your children, and they are harming the future generations of Muslims, and they are preventing the ummah from being glorious in the world again, from moving ahead and moving against oppression and everything else that is happening to us. What you are doing inside your own home to your wife, then know that this is preventing the victory of the Muslim ummah. And my last message is to the narcissist. You are a narcissist. That's who I'm talking to. Because it's always her fault. You haven't done anything wrong. If you hurt her or harmed her, then it was because she deserved it, or she's a feminist, or you're someone who's infatuated by people like Andrew Tate or like Donald Trump. You see them as like your role models and heroes. I got news for you, bro. You're not a man. You're not masculine. You are a coward. You are a coward. And you have no qualities of masculinity. You have no qualities of a man, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that women are to be protected by men. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was a man. And you know how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how he protected, how he took care, and how he was soft and gentle with his wives. So number one, you're a coward. Number two, Allah is on her side. He's not on your side. You can pray 5 times a day, you can pray tahajjud, you can go on hajj, you can go on umrah, and keep on doing those things, because maybe one day they might lead to your salvation. You can read as much Quran, you can give circles, you can come on YouTube and make videos which have millions of views. You can get respected by people, you can grow your beard, you can wear a hat like you can do all of these things. But Allah is on her side, because you are an oppressor, and Allah is on the side of the oppressed. And the third thing I'm going to say to you is, stop what you are doing, leave her alone, leave this marriage, let her go on her way, and apologize to her and beg for her forgiveness. And if your arrogance doesn't let you do that, then know that the angels are going to do to you every single thing that you did or have done to her. The angels are going to do it to you, unless she chooses to forgive you, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses to forgive you after that. My second advice, if you are a Muslim woman who's looking to get married, please look into 3 things. Find out about these 3 things. Go online, go on Google, go on YouTube, find out about these things. Number 1, find out what is a narcissist. What are the behaviors of a narcissist? How do they act? So number 1, you want to protect yourself from getting married to a narcissist. So read up about that. Number 2, read up about childhood trauma and how it affects adult personality. Read everything you can about childhood trauma and process your own childhood trauma. Go to a therapist, go to a professional, and it just involves you just talking about your childhood, the uncomfortable things that happened to you. Process that, which would help you to understand your own character, and it will help you to spot other people that may have unresolved childhood trauma. And the third thing I would say to you is, there's this term called love bombing. Love bombing. Go and find out what is love bombing. You meet some guy at your work or on the street, and then within 7 days, the guy wants to he's showering you with gifts and money and messages and this and that, and he wants to spend the rest of his life with you and everything. So when something happens too quickly and too fast, that should be a warning signal. So read up about narcissists, read up about childhood trauma, and read up about love bombing. And the last lesson, the last message I would say to sisters who are looking to get married, please involve your family from the earliest stage. Do things properly. These processes and procedures are not there to control you, but they are there to protect you. Many people they're going on apps, and they're making contact with guys, and they're sharing their numbers and everything like that. And before the woman knows it, she's trapped in an abusive or narcissistic relationship. Do things properly. Involve your menfolk, involve your wali, involve them from the first step, and do things properly. And you know what I mean by doing things properly. Do things properly, and they are there to protect you, not to control you. There is hope. There is hope, and I would say to sisters that are in abusive relationships, there are a few men in the Muslim Ummah. There are some men that are doing something about this. Don't lose hope. We are doing something about this. It's going to take time, because the problem is big, but there's a lot more awareness about this. Men are talking about these things more and more. I mean, this guy that I met, he was a practicing Muslim. He wasn't that religious. I mean, okay, he prayed, and he wasn't someone that you would call a student of knowledge or something like that. But he was clued up about these things because of what happened to his sister. Don't take the law into your own hands, please. If it happens to a relative, because you're going to go to prison and you may have your own life or your family or whatever to think about. The law is not going to be, when UK anyway, the law is not going to be on your side if you say that you did it because of what the guy did to your sister or daughter or anything like that. Don't lose hope. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may He help you in your situation. May He help you escape abusive marriages. May He protect your children. May He find for you a way out of this difficulty that you're in. If you benefited from this video, if you know someone that is suffering or going through an abusive marriage, feel free to share this with them, because it could save someone's life. In that brother's case, what happened to his sister, he told me that guy almost killed my sister. Because one particular, 1 or 2 days, he beat her so badly that he almost killed her. He almost beat her to death. And so he said it's a miracle that dream that I had about her and the ostrich is a miracle that she's still alive. I mean, I don't know where he is now and what happened to him. That was a conversation, that was someone that I spent a few months with in prison, like some 20 years ago. I don't know what happened to him or his family or whatever, but there are a lot of lessons to learn from his story. Stay safe, don't lose hope. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك الزمان. يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك